This is my community mapping project for CI 151, Social Context of Teaching and Learning, and my name is Marissa Tavares. The school site that I was placed at for this semester was Clovis High School, located in Clovis, California. As you can see on this map, it is not too far from Fresno State. It's actually about 5 miles east of Fresno State. Just some of the overall statistics about the school that I got from the California Department of Education's website. There are 2,904 students enrolled at Clovis High School. Grades 9 through 12 are taught. There are 49 students that are English language learners, and there are 1,305 students that receive free or reduced lunch. My content area is physical education, so I'd just like to point out some of the facilities that we use on a day-to-day basis. So here's the track right here. We also use La Monica Stadium, the North and South Gym, tennis courts, and then basketball courts as well. So those are some of the more popular ones that we use. I wanted to give an overall kind of overview of the 3 classes that I taught this semester. I used the school's database to distinguish different categories such as ethnicity, students with IEPs, 504 plans, English language learners, free reduced lunch, and medical. The biggest one that I had an issue was the medical. So I had 21 students over the semester that had a medical issue. It's pretty hard to build lessons around medical issues, but it's not impossible. So I just had to take the extra step to modify my lessons accordingly based on the different medical issues that came up. Here is a sample of the community resource survey that I handed to all 3 of my classes. The big points on this was number 3, asked for the household composition. So it was good to learn this about my students because I was able to find out what kind of homes they grow up in, and then find out what kind of support they have at home. Some of the things they like to do to be physically active in the community. One that I found interesting was frisbee golf, because not a lot of people know about frisbee golf and not a lot of play frisbee golf. So that was good to see. Another one that I liked was skywalk. It was interesting to see that because people don't normally associate skywalk with kind of like the dreaded physical activity. It's a fun thing to do, but it is considered exercise. And then we'll get into the rest of the questions in a little bit. Because my content area is physical education, I decided to focus a lot of my time of the resources on areas or resources that you can be physically active. So on the left are 2 common ones that the students listed on their sheets. So Clovis High School, like I said, there was many different facilities that the students can use to be physically active, and it doesn't cost anything. Another one was GB3. So a lot of them listed the gym. They like to be active at the gym, but GB3 was a more common one, even though it's a little bit more, it costs a little bit more than some other gyms. 2 that weren't as common, but were interesting was the Clovis Rotary Skate Park. It is fairly new in Clovis, and it's a great way for skaters to get out and be active. And then 2 Extreme Arena, same thing with Skywalk. It's fairly new as well, and it's a great way to be active. Here is a map of the 4 resources that the students listed. So here's Clovis High School, here's GB3, number 3 is 2 Extreme Arena, and then number 4 right here is Clovis Rotary Skate Park. Some additional resources to be physically active that I found while researching. On the left is the Clovis Trail. So it's pretty accessible to all parts of Clovis. It starts at one end, like the north end of Clovis, and goes all the way down to the south end of Clovis. It doesn't cost anything. You can bike, walk, run, and it runs into many different parks, which leads me to Dry Creek Park on the right. What's interesting about Dry Creek Park is that it has workout stations built in throughout the park. So as you can see right here in the middle of the picture, that's actually a workout station for people to stop out and do pull-ups and things like that. I took my niece and nephew here to check it out, and it was interesting because I saw a mom and her daughter on the playground, and I saw the dad at the workout station, and he kept going back and forth checking in, but it was nice to see that the whole family could go and be entertained. Here's some additional resources. So on the top is Metal Mark Climbing and Fitness. When I went there, I asked one of the ladies that was working there, I asked her, why do people like going there? And she said it's something adventurous, it's interesting, and it's out of the ordinary. So I think that's why a lot of people like to go, just because it's something different. And then I also asked what type of people go there. And she said mostly young, fit adults, but everyone is welcome. She said it was also nice to see the younger kids try it and not be discouraged. On the bottom is the Clovis West swimming pool. I've been there many times. I work with elementary kids, and over this last summer, actually, we took about 50 kids there that wanted to go. And it's cool because there's a wading pool, there's a deeper pool, and there's high dive, low dive. So we had students from first grade all the way to sixth grade, and they all had fun because they were all able to do different things. And then I also saw a few different families. It's open to the public. So there was a few different families, and you could tell that they were really enjoying it. There's always lifeguards on duties, and it's a pretty minimal fee, about $3 a person. And it's also held at other CSD swimming pools, so it's accessible as well. Here are some things. Well, there's not as many facilities and opportunities for people with disabilities in comparison to those without disabilities. So here are a couple for adapted physical activity. It was nice to be able to check out these two places just because it's focused more on people to be inclusive. So the top one was Break the Barriers. Here, all ages are welcome, all disabilities are welcome. Many different classes are offered, and then there's also performing teams. So you may have seen them perform like at the Fresno State halftime show. I asked one of the men that was working there, he was helping a child that was in a wheelchair, and he said it was really cool to be able to show them that they belong, and it's even cooler to see them believe it. So he was really inclusive on that aspect. And then the bottom one is the Inspiration Park. So this one is a little bit farther out in Fresno, but it's worth it. It's pretty cool because the whole park is designed for people with disabilities. They have a playground that's wheelchair accessible. They have a water park, dog park. My favorite part though was they had few basketball courts. The court was designed good for wheelchairs, and then the hoops themselves were able to be lowered or raised based on the disability. So I thought that was pretty cool. Here are some community resources that students can go with their friends. These are some of the more common ones that they listed. So the first one was a movie theater. So a lot of them listed Edwards, which I thought that was interesting because it's a little farther into Fresno rather than the closer one in Clovis. Second one was Clovis High Sports Games. That one is good because as you're having fun, you're also building some social skills with your friends and your classmates. Third one is a bowling alley. So they listed Bolero, which was new to me because I've always known it as AMF Rodeo Lanes or something like that. And this is new, so I had to go check it out. It was pretty cool. Yeah. And the last one was Sierra Vista Mall. So they all like to go to the mall with their friends. Here are some additional resources that I've researched. In the Clovis High area, there's a lot of neighborhoods that have parks inside of them. So that's a place that the friends can go and hang out. Some more things, extracurricular activities, so within the school, clubs within the school, and then community service as well. Some things that require a little bit of money that they can do with their friends: Blackbeard's Family Entertainment, MB2, restaurants, concerts at Fresno State. MB2 was one of the ones that was new to me as well. So when I went there, it was neat to see the different age groups that were there, and they were all having fun. Here are some community resources that students can do with their family or friends too. Some that require no money: church, the Clovis Library, and walking the dog. The library, it was interesting because when I walked in there were many adults and young adults, but it was cool to see that there was also a kids area. So it had kids chairs, kids books, all that stuff. And it's very accessible from the junior high. It's right across the street. And then some that require a little bit of money: Fresno Chaffee Zoo, the Underground Gardens, Wild Water Adventure Park, and Color Me Mine. More like health related, some resources that are available in the community for food. So some food pantries. Here's just a list of them that students can go to with their families if they need some food. In addition, here's some doctors that take Medi-Cal. So if a student and their family, they don't have a lot of money and not enough for healthcare, that kind of stuff, if they're on Medicare or Medi-Cal, they can go to these doctors. And lastly is housing assistance. So if a student is facing hard times with housing, they don't have anywhere to go to, this is a list of places that either accept youth or mothers with their youth. And lastly, this is just a picture of Old Town Clovis. It was nice to be able to take the time to research and get to know all of these different resources. Although I'd lived in Clovis my whole life, there was still new territory to discover, like the New Bolero and the NB2. It was also important to learn about the health resources in the community to reference in case any of my future students ever face hardships like that and they need some help.